All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 25th, 2023. My name is John Carrigan. I moderate the BYOB trading room. So, good morning. My SPY pivot this morning is 439.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Anchored VWAP is at, well, let me get that back up. Anchored VWAP's at 438.82, not far from my pivot. And let's go back here. Okay, all four indices and the FNGU have bearish engulfing candles on the daily chart. I'm watching for follow through today. Without follow through, it's just one candle. US dollar index continues to grind higher. That's not good for the markets. Silver's still looking bullish. I'm looking for a bull flag to develop in crude oil. Currently, it has a little mini head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart. Okay, UNG, that's natural gas, still trying to hang on to the midpoint. And the big information for today is Jerome Powell from the FOMC is going to speak at 10:05 a.m. Should be some volatility. Be careful. All right, let's go take a look at the markets. Here's our daily chart, poking the daily, the hourly uptrend here. Daily bearish engulfing here. Again, it's just one candle. Let's watch for that MMRP to the short side right here. We're looking for a possible doji candle today, and then I pull back to actually up to the midpoint, which would be resistance up overhead, and then three candles to the downside. So we'll see what happens here in SPY. Remember, Jerome speaking, so I mean the bulls could find some inspiration from any little thing he says and bring it all the way back up here. So we'll see what happens. There's the SPY, still in a downtrend. Finally putting in the lower high here on the SPY. Possible shoulder, not sure yet. We'll see what happens. So there's the SPY. QQQ. Let's take a look at the QQQ in a daily downtrend, producing a lower high, a lower low, and yet again another lower high. So we'll watch for an MMRP. Market makers reversal pattern to the downside in QQQ. So there we are. We've got a left shoulder. All of this represents this M pattern, represents the head. And this could be a right shoulder. This would be the right neck. This would be the left neck right there, that point there. So connecting those 2 points, if we did this, right through here, break through there, and you have a valid head and shoulders pattern to the downside. So watch that QQQ for the valid pattern to the downside on the head and shoulders pattern. Now, if we look at it, where are we in the midst of the quad lines? We are below the midpoint. So we're looking for follow through down here to the neckline. There's QQQ. Now let's take a look at FNGU, because this is the one that seems to move both the SPY and the QQQ. And we already have a valid head and shoulders on the FNGU. If I can map that out here, this would be, right here would be the neckline. And you can see here we are breaking down. We tried to make it back up to the neckline here yesterday. But we got the bearish engulfing. Again, we're going to watch on this one also for a valid MMRP pattern to develop. MMRP would be, the reversal pattern would be an igniting bar to the downside, a pause, a pullback to resistance, and then three candles making lower lows and lower highs off here to the right, kind of moving price action lower. So there's FNGU. So that hourly uptrend there could be broken right there. So That hourly uptrend is broken. QQQ, hourly uptrend possibly broken, or they're just set the low right there. So there's QQQ, SPY. We can look at them on the hourly chart. And that one's way too busy. Let's try this. All right. So here's the hourly uptrend in the QQQ. That was going on, and you can see right there, we busted right through that. Now let's take a look at QQQ. That was the SPY. Here's that hourly uptrend we had going on, and you can see we busted right through that. So back in the daily downtrend for QQQ, SPY, and FNGU. FNGU, here's that hourly uptrend, and we busted that all up right there. There was the trend, and it got hammered yesterday. All right, so back in the daily downtrend for all three of those. Now let's go take a look at IWM. This is a much broader market. All right, so here we are on the daily chart with a move down, not quite setting the higher low yet, the lower high on the daily chart for IWM. Just a rapid pullback down here, breaking through minor support. Minor support is these two humps up here. Major support would be the two valleys. You can see we came down into the two valleys there, and we found support on the two valleys right here. So now we're just kind of bear flagging right now. Notice these candles just moving over to the right in a bear flag pattern. And you can see on the daily chart here we had the bearish engulfing. Now IWM never really had an hourly uptrend. It was just more of maybe a 15-minute. But here is the bearish engulfing follow through for IWM. IWM kind of gapping up this morning. That's a good sign. A little gap up higher would be nicer. But there we are with the IWM in a bear flag pattern on the daily chart. So there's IWM. Let's take a look at the diamond. The diamond dogs. All right, so here we are. Head and shoulders pattern right here. Left shoulder, also considered minor support. Breaking through the minor support, headed toward major support. That's the two valleys down here, this one and this one. So we're headed down towards bearish engulfing, kind of gap down, traded all the way up, and then all the way back down. So bearish engulfing on the diamonds right there. And the diamonds are in a bear flag formation right here, right now. So on the daily chart. So diamonds not looking too healthy. Never really had a daily downtrend with a lower high. This could be the lower high right here. I don't know. I don't see it. But right now, in an hourly downtrend and in a bear flag pattern on the daily chart. So here's a pullback. Now, if we look at the diamonds, here is the uptrend line that starts back in March. And you can see we are pulling back to trend. So whether we get a bounce today or later next week, we'll see what happens. If the bears have enough inspiration to break that uptrend line that lasts, well, since all the way back in March. So there's diamonds. All right, let's take a look at the US. Let's take a look at gold. All right, so here's gold kind of bullying here. BOP still below zero, but kind of bullying right here. And couldn't quite make the lower low on the chart, but we do have the lower high. So it was up to the bears to produce that lower low. And it's quite possible that they couldn't get it done. And now the bulls are going to run off and try to score another first down here by moving the ball up over this high. We'll see what happens. This is gold, still bearish on the daily chart, still bearish altogether. If we look at this trend, let's take a line and pop it across there. can see we're still underneath this downtrend right there. So still in a daily downtrend, but trying to find some inspiration to break that. So there's gold. Silver popping up over the midpoint of the last pullback. Really nice. Challenging this downtrend line here that's only got 2 points, well actually 3 points here to fan it out. And this is an extension of this downtrend here. But silver popping all the way back over the midpoint and challenging this uptrend. Well, excuse me, this downtrend right here. So we'll see what happens. They got caught up in this little head and shoulders pattern here. So there's a left shoulder, left neck, right neck, and all of this represents the head. So there's silver coming back up, kind of forming a right shoulder. We'll see if they can break through, possibly even challenge this downtrend line up there. So silver not quite ready to break out. I think something's going to happen probably before the end of the year. There's silver. Let's take a look at UNG. So here's nat gas trying to hold on to this midpoint back up here. Still in a daily downtrend. Just still in this weekly bear flag. Down and just over to the right for months now. So here's the uptrend line, trying to hang on to that uptrend line right there. Not doing too well. We'll see what happens, but there's the uptrend line. Like to see this reverse, get back over the midpoint. That would be a good sign. But right now, testing these lows. We got a bottom, bottom, bottom here. Triple bottom so far. And we could be back down here to test these lows down here in the $6 range. They are really close. We'll see what happens. So UNG not finding much bullishness yet. But all in all, with the market yesterday, UNG was able to close over the previous day's close. So over the previous day's candle. So that is some good news for UNG. But still in that big bear flag. USO, this is our crude oil. Crude oil putting in a little mini head and shoulders. You got a left shoulder, a right shoulder, a neckline, and they're holding on to the neckline. You can see we're gapping up this morning up here. So there's USO trying to produce this bull flag. Like to see it produce the bull flag, not the head and shoulders pattern, but that's what we got. We got a little mini head and shoulders right here. But until it breaks this through this neckline with clean candles, it's not broken. So it's looking for the bull flag to form right out here on USO. Really like to see this cool off for about a month. Good 30 days. That would be nice. It's gone up too fast. If it goes up too fast, it can fall just as fast. So I don't like it when they go up fast. I kind of like it when they grind up slow. Going up fast like that, I like to see it pull back. It's pulling back to support right now. You notice it's finding support right on the tops of these humps right there. So it's finding support right on minor support right there. And when it stays in the upper third of the move, that's bullish to me. So as long as we stay over this 70.37 area, I'm bullish on crude oil. Everything's still looking good. All right, let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. And here we are with the U.S. dollar. This is a daily chart of the U.S. dollar. Here's yesterday's candle. Nice bullish engulfing right there on yesterday's candle. Grinding up to 104. I'm going to stay bullish on the market as long as the dollar stays under 104.30 right there. But, you know, it's coming awfully testy right here, challenging these tails over here to the right, to the left, to the left, and challenging those tails. Now, it's had a really nice move up. I think it's time for it to cool off. We'll see what happens. This could keep bullying all the way back up to its prior highs, way up here at 113. So we'll see what happens here with the U.S. dollar. Uh, really nice move ever since July. Looks like July 7th, July 13th, right there. This has been grinding up ever so slightly, the U.S. dollar. Now, the U.S. dollar makes our goods and services more expensive in the global economies, makes us less competitive. So that's the reason why the markets drop. When our goods and services become too expensive, it drops our GDP and it drops future outlook. Future outlook then in turn causes stocks to retrace in their PE multiples. In other words, their price to earnings multiples. So what you get is a retraction in stock price. So what do we got today? We got Jerome Powell's going to speak today at 10:05. That's about it. And let's change the time zone, see what we got coming on next week. And that will be the 28th. Let's change time zone, hit the 28th. All right, so here we are, 28th. Not much happening. Not even anybody speaking. Consumer confidence on Tuesday at 10. GDP, gross domestic product, right there. That'll be a big one on Wednesday. That's the amount of goods and services that we export. That's us as a nation taking in money. That's money that comes back to the USA for selling goods and services overseas to other countries. International trade in goods, right there, 8:30 also. And petroleum status at 10:30. So nothing's really happening until Tuesday when we got the consumer confidence. And then comes GDP. Following that is GDP on Wednesday at 8:30. Earnings. Yeah, if we look at the earnings calendar, today is the 25th. Nothing really happening on the earnings front today. Not much at all. And I got to say, maybe earnings season is over. I'm not seeing much happen here. Maybe Helco, maybe. I don't know.